What up, Chicken Nuggets? Dr. Tyler Tarver here, and I want to talk to you about the Veefriends top Chrome release and why it's kind of going crazy right now, in my opinion, and why people are buying it. Okay, so first off, I need to address the fact that I look like I'm being held hostage in a room. I just got done working out, and I'm at a hotel because I'm in Tampa, Florida at SCU for a conference for education because that's my main job. Bought this. I had a chance to swing by flow cards. I don't know. Bought this 4 comps in your face deals. And then I got $9 worth of cards for $9 out of a pack. So I want to jump right into it and talk about why I think Veefriends Topps Chrome is getting bought up. A lot of people have made some shorts, done really well, that are like calling it like a grifter. And I think grifter gets thrown around a lot. Yes, I think Gary Vee is making money off of this. He wants this IP, which stands for intellectual property, to be valuable. He wants it to go up. Do I think that like him and 2 or 3 other people plan to go in and buy it? Personally, no. Again, Gary Vee didn't text me. He let me know. I'm giving my opinion, and I'm going to kind of tell you some backstory on why I think that. So back in like 2015, I started watching. I'd been watching him for a while, but then he started doing daily vlogs. His name is Casey Neistat. He's a YouTuber. Really liked his content. I used to watch his daily vlogs every day. It was like the only show I watched was his daily 10-minute vlog. And I remember there was an episode where Gary came on. It was the first time I'd ever, I think, ran across Gary Vee's stuff. And, you know, the way Gary Vee talks, he's very like, he interrupt people. I think he's doing more than he does now. But he interrupt people, get real excited, and he's a bit abrasive, if you will. I think he's even said that. And I remember at the moment I was like when I was watching, I was like, Gary, I didn't know this Gary person. This Gary Vee guy's be quiet. I want to hear Casey talk. But then like Casey didn't give like a lot of marketing advice, and I was trying to do more and more marketing stuff with like commercials and my education stuff. And I was trying to, do things with my Tarver Academy education stuff and get that out there. And so I started listening to more of his stuff, and I would only listen to it once every like 3 to 6 months. There's a reason behind this story. Every 3 to 6 months, I would go in and listen to, a few of his podcasts or a few of his talks, because he'd put all his talks out there for free. And I got a bunch of advice just from not from what he said a lot, but from what he was doing. And so he was putting a lot of content out there for free, which led to speaking engagements. And so that's what I started doing. I started making a ton of stuff and putting it out there that other people were selling for teachers. And so I put it out there for free, and it helped me get some social media, a little momentum, and then led into me getting the chance to get some speaking engagements. So I do owe him thank you for doing that and just like putting it out there what you were doing, because it was like good advice for me. And he doesn't watch my videos. I'm just giving my opinion. And so like I've kind of followed his journey, and I'll see stuff. And I remember when he launched that NFT stuff back in like 2020, 2021. And here's the thing that like I tried to get one of the early ones, and it wasn't because I was like, oh, I'm getting it because it's Gary Vee. Here's what convinced me. And I think that this is why a lot of people are buying into what he's creating. I was convinced after like hearing Gary Vee's stuff for a while, like you don't have to agree with what he says, but I think he genuinely believes what he says. And one of the reasons that I thought this was like, the reason I spaced out when I'd listened to him is because he'd often get repetitive. And I remember him being on stage saying like, if you want me to say something different just for entertainment or to mix up the content, I'm not going to until I see a different trend in the market. So it's like he would be repetitive to a point that it hurt his content, where people like me might not listen for a while just to see if stuff changed in the market. And the reason is because I feel like whether he's right or wrong, he believes the things he's saying. You know what I mean? And so has anybody ever been around somebody that like they truly believe? I mean, I guess we are a lot. You probably have lots of friends like, I know a friend, he's crazy. He drinks this one website. Maybe he is crazy. But I really think Gary Vee, did have some market stuff that he like was spot on with. Stuff he missed with. The NFT stuff didn't. I mean, there were people that made a lot of money right off the bat. Like if I'd have bought in at what I was trying to buy in, I didn't get enough. I think it was like $9,000. I was like trying to get in there, didn't win because it was like an auction thing that I didn't really understand. It was the first time I was getting into crypto stuff. Lost it. Ended up just like chilling with the NFT or with the Ethereum, which now it's like up to like $5,000. So I was like, that's cool. But like some people I know like bought it like $9 or $10,000 and like sold for like $100,000 to different people, and like it actually helped them. I saw what seemed to be real stories. Internet's all true. And so like I think some people have made money. I think some people have lost money. And I think that he is genuinely trying to create something out of this content, and he's doing it. And it's honestly, it's really interesting to me to watch how he's trying to create that. Like, how would you, in the comments, if you were trying to create a new piece of like intellectual property, whether it's like if you're trying to create the new Pokemon or trying to create the new Disney or trying to create this stuff, like the way media is now has changed. Like you can make a YouTube show. There's a show, I don't know if y'all watched it back in high school, I used to watch called Homestar Runner. And I feel like Homestar Runner was like this thing that like everybody I knew, all the dudes that I knew used to watch it like back in like 10th, 11th grade. And then I remember like I revisited it and I used to watch it when I was a teacher. I'd watch the Strong Bad emails. Strong Bad. No. Okay. That is a very niche thing. But I used to watch the emails while I was eating turkey sandwiches at lunch. It was like a way I would like decompress from like having to teach kids about math. And so it's like those intellectual properties, like that one is the first one I saw where I was like, that one had all the momentum and all the opportunity, but most of you guys have probably never heard of Homestar Runner. And I just feel like they didn't capitalize on what they could have been. I think what Gary is trying to do, and there's different avenues, I think he's really trying to create something, and it's been really interesting watching how he's doing that. Like he's got comic book, he's not putting it all like, oh, I'm just gonna make a comic book or I'm gonna pitch a TV show. Like he has a show, he has a YouTube channel, he has a comic book, he's doing cards. Like I think he's pushing into multiple areas, and it's honestly, that's in 2025, that's how I think a lot of people would like, that's how I would go about it. If I had the finances to create that and I was passionate about creating that medium, yeah, I'd go about it different, and like just him and I'd have different vibes. I actually got, one time I got yelled at. I was doing, it was a, you didn't care, but it's my podcast, so I'll say it. I was doing it was a meeting, it was like a group, and we were coming in to write a curriculum for the state of Arkansas on social media. And this is like 8-9 years ago. And we met and we were like trying to build out this curriculum with like all the frameworks they need to teach like a social media marketing class in high school and get credit for it. And I remember like I pitched to this room, like, yeah, there's a guy named Gary Vaynerchuk that has like a lot of really good marketing content. They were like, oh, we should put his stuff in the thing. I was like, well, we can't because he cusses a lot. And I remember I got yelled at by this lady. She was like, I can't believe that. Like, I can't believe he wouldn't change it, blah, blah. I'm like, yo, you don't, he doesn't, he's doing okay. He doesn't need our framework to like make it in what he's doing. Like I was like, chill, like, you know, he gonna make the way he gonna make it. Like I would do it different. However, it's very interesting to me to see how he's doing it. And so I don't know if you guys noticed this. Like I went on and looked, and again, I'm recording this, what is this, Monday night. I just looked on eBay sales. The blasters, which I think were like $25-$30 off the shelf, they're reselling for $90 a pop on eBay. $90 a piece, so 25 up to 90. And then the hobby box, which there was like a raffle, I put in for it, didn't get it. And I don't know if I'd have kept it or sold it. I probably sold it if I seen what it was doing now. They were selling, I think, like $140, $150 if I remember. And they are actually reselling for like $320 to $400 right now. Do I think there will be a dip in that after like a month or so? Yeah. We see that in every product. Every product sees a dip. Now, is it going to go down as fast as my 900, the only hobby boxes I ever like invested in, which was it the 2021 Metal Universe, when they brought back the same artist that did the original like 1997 Metal Universe cards. They came back and redid them. And I bought like 3 hobby boxes, I think, for $900 a pop. And now you can probably get it for like 150 at the most. And so some of them drop more than others. I don't think people would call the Fleer Upper Deck. They wouldn't call Upper Deck grifters because there's cards in there that do resell well. It's just their hobby boxes aren't still holding that value, and they're not increasing in value. And I think you see that a lot. Like some boxes go up, some go down. Do I think that like there's anything nefarious in this based on like kind of consuming pieces of his content and hearing and listening to it when I'm like mowing or running? I don't think he is. I think he, yes, would probably want to make money off it because that's how you keep doing things. You make money off it. But I don't think it's any type of like big grift or like hoax. That's Tyler's opinion. You could disagree. Say in the comments. I love to hear. Just be polite and keep it cool. So, but I think with any intellectual property, Pokemon, Dragon Ball Z. I actually rock with Dragon Ball Z. Harry Potter, love Harry Potter. Batman is an IP. Batman started and it wasn't that big a deal. And then people liked it and it gained momentum. There's plenty of comic books that never got that momentum and died out. Will this keep going? Will it gain traction? Honestly, from watching Gary Vee's personality, I don't think he's the kind that's going to quit on something. He has said, and this is why I try to get in on the NFT thing, because he said, I remember hearing him say it, he is going to dedicate the rest of his life to making this a worthwhile investment for everybody involved. And I know the NFT market like kind of like didn't do as well. But then it's like he like rolled those people over into this stuff. And if people would have taken chances at each of those pieces, then they've seen profit in certain areas. Maybe they've seen losses. Honestly, I just think it comes down to when it's a product like this that is very oriented around like a soul figure, like a charismatic leader, entrepreneur, whatever. It's even with companies like the startups. Very often you have to read the leader and be like, are they going to like bounce out and leave me crashed out, like to talk to a coin? Or is it going to be like they're going to dedicate their life to making this valuable for you? And I think based on what I've seen of what Gary Vee has put out there in the world, I think he's going to try to keep making all of this world, not just like these Topps Chrome boxes. I think it's just like another step in what he's doing. I think he's going to try to make all of it more valuable in the end. Will there be drops? Absolutely. I think there will. Did I get paid to make this video? No, but I accept Venmo. Actually, I accept Cash App. Can we just all agree like Cash App is like the good one and everything else is for drug dealers? That's my opinion. I'm just kidding. I do not like sharing socially on Venmo what I'm buying. Like I'm buying sports cards. Sorry, Venmo, or I'm paying people to mow yards. So I think that Gary believes in this product, and I think he's going to keep trying to make it valuable for people that buy into it, especially early. That's what I think. Will it? Only time will tell. It only takes, guys, you guys know this. If you ever tried to bid on something on eBay, it only takes two people to make something valuable. Two people bidding against each other. And so I think at least if two people believe in any of these products, whether it's Gary Vee or Pokemon or Dragon Ball Z or baseball, it only takes two people bidding up to keep that interest there and to keep that value there. And then you're the whole supply and demand thing we made the whole episode on, where it's like, are there enough people to keep that sustainable if the products keep growing? And I think that's what we're going to see. If they overprint this stuff, no, it'll drop pretty quick. If they were very calculated in how much Veefriends Topps Chrome they printed, they could see some value go up. So that's my thoughts. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment. I think, honestly, it's a combination of three things. The reason people are buying it right now at the 1 week mark, it's loyalty to Gary, trust that he's going to help build that product out and make it more valuable. And then we have what we have in every type of arena, not just sports cards, FOMO, fear of missing out. People don't want to miss out on the next big thing. So I think those three things are coming together to make people buy this stuff and either hold it or try to like flip it or sell it or break, whatever they're doing. So that's my opinion. So all I can say for sure is buying a card at comps is still usually more valuable than buying a pack of cards. Singles over packs. That's how I live. Checks over stripes. Cards over cases. Man, this is a good one. I didn't even look at the corners. This is actually pretty clean. This hot hands is pretty clean. I'm going to send it in. Who knows? Thank you guys so much for listening. If you want to hit that like, subscribe, whatevs, you can. No pressure. If you want to help us out on Apple or Spotify, that's cool. I say us. I'm the only one doing this. Whatevs. Y'all be good. Stay sweet. And never stop collecting. Let me know in the comments your thoughts. I'd love to know it. That's it. That's all I got. Just be nice. Later. Be good. Sports cards are dope. And so are you. Later.